Hey everybody, welcome back to Change Your Perspective, Change Your Awareness, Change Your Life. I'm Dr. Michelina, leadership consultant, here to talk to you about basically leadership development is character development. And so we want to talk about character. We want to talk about main character energy, right? You are the main character in the story of your life. And really, if you look around, and I've talked a lot about this when I was teaching for 7 years, because I used to teach high school English, as you probably know, everything is story. Like if you look around, we know the things we know because stories have been passed on. Even history, right, is his story. And every story is told from a specific perspective. What perspective have you been telling your story from? From what perspective have you been telling your story, right? And you probably don't actually know. You're probably like, what do you even mean? Well, let's see. Are you the villain in your story? Are you the hero in your story? Are you the wicked stepsister in your story? Are you the loser in your story? Are you the monster in your story? Like, what role do you play in the story of your life? Because whatever role you're playing in the story of your life is how you're showing up in your life, right? And so what ends up happening is that we get parked at the point of where our pains happen, and instead of using them as a springboard, instead of using our conflicts, our adversities as a springboard to become better versions of ourselves, what we do is we internalize the trauma of the thing, and then a lot of times we turn to unproductive substances or situations or people, and we end up coming off of our path. We end up coming away from our purpose, right? And so when we do that, it's like we've become the side character in our life. We've become the side character in our life. Everybody else becomes more important than we do. So how do you get back in main character energy, right? That's what I want to talk about in this today specifically, how to get back in main character energy. But this series, I want to talk about being the main character in your life. People are always talking about get your power back. And it doesn't often help because people don't know what that means. What it means is you're the main character in your story. Okay, you're the main character in your story. You're making decisions based on your own belief systems, your own wants. I saw this the other day, and I think it was Oscar Wilde who said, everybody is just a collection of everybody else, right? And we want to stop doing that. Like, you don't want to be some sort of like depository for everybody else's thoughts and beliefs. So step number 1 is, well, what do I believe, right? Step number 2 is, well, why do I believe it? Step number 3 is this even mine? Right, so I'm going to give you an easy one around money, and I've talked about the money wound, I've talked about this elsewhere, so like go find those videos. But when you feel like I can't ever make any money doesn't grow on trees, did your parents say that? Did your uncle say that? Robert Kiyosaki talks about that, like rich dad, poor dad. And it's really about what's instilled into you. If you come up in a poverty lack mindset, specifically around money, but really around anything, don't be surprised when you've got a lack mindset about it. That's what you were taught. Unintentionally, probably. Parents most of the time want better for their kids, but they can't help but reproduce and replicate what they believe. So if you believe, well, I have to get a 9 to 5 and I'm never going to make any money and I should have kids, do you want that? Or is that what you think you're supposed to do? Because if it's what you think you are supposed to do, you're not the main character in your life, you're the side character in your life. If you're catering to everybody else's needs and wants, you're the side character. And that's not productive for main character energy, right? So let's reel it in a little bit, right? What does main character energy look like? Okay, what does it look like to be the main character of the story? Most of the time, it has to do with a journey. every main character goes on some kind of journey. This is really just like basic English plotline 101, okay? This is really just how a story goes. And you probably learned this in maybe 9th grade English, maybe 7th grade English. And it's like opening conflict, and then you get like rising action, you get climax, you get falling action. Like, our life is just a series of those kind of things. Okay, so what ends up happening is every person is on a journey. Your life is your journey. Your life is your story. Actually, it's probably a lot of stories. I call people living libraries, right? Like, we have a lot of collection of stories within us. But everybody's on a journey. You're on your own hero's journey. You're on your own storybook journey called life. And you are supposed to be the main character of it, right? So, first things first, my assumption is you probably, maybe, have never really thought about your life in that way. Now, if you are the author of your own life, right? If you're the main character, true, but if you're also the author of your own life, not only are you living the experience out, but you're also organizing what you want to happen. And I'll tell you truthfully, in my own life, I really got everything I wanted because I had it really scripted. Like, I knew, and don't ask me how, I had a pretty strong ego, pretty strong will. I was like, I know I want to teach English. I know I want to get my master's in English and in teaching. I know I want to teach for 7 years. I know I want to teach at a good high school. Like, all these things. And this was in 2008. I was saying these things. I was 18 years old, 19 years old. And every adult, and I do mean literally every adult, is like, oh God, it's an awful time for teachers. Like, we're in a recession right now. Like, you're never going to find a job. And I was like, okay, but this is what I'm going to do. 2 months after graduating, that's exactly what happened. Almost 7 years to the day was how long I taught. And so that was easy. It was really easy to follow the game plan for my life when I had one. The problem came when I stopped having a game plan for my life. I was like, I know I want to I want to get a doctorate, and I know I don't want to teach in high school, but I don't know what I want to do after 30. Like, I don't know what the next step is. Like, I don't know what the outline of my life is. And it was not a shock that, like, I deconstructed everything in such a way that, like, I had no idea what my life was going to look like. I won't get into my own stuff right now, but what I will say is this. The more you can have a not set trajectory, but a semi-permanent idea of the benchmarks that you would like to happen, the easier, as the author of your life, the easier it is for you as the main character of your life. The reason why a lot of us come out of main character energy and into side character energy is because we let everybody else write the story of our lives. Your mom's writing it, your dad's writing it, your guidance counselor's writing it, your husband's writing it, society's scripting it. And so, what ends up happening is that we get to 30, 40 years old and we're in the middle of a life we never wanted, and we're like, crap, how did I get here? Or something blows your life up in such a way that it redirects you on the path you're supposed to have. Because, like, and again, this is just my own belief system, is like, you as the main character, you as the author, God as the ultimate author, right? So his will's coming to pass in your life, period, whether you believe in him or not. And so it's a very interesting, like, concept, being the main character in your life, right? And so we come out of main character energy because we don't know what we want. So we're fumbling around on this very basic level. We're in our story, living our story, and we're just kind of meandering about. There's no set path for the journey to fall out on. And if you ever ask any author ever, any, like, memoir, like biography, fiction, nonfiction, they have a script for their story. It will shift, it will change. Stuff will get edited, stuff will get added, stuff will get taken out. But there is a framework. When I was writing my dissertation, it was called like a theoretical framework. You have this idea of what you want your research to look like. We do not have a good theoretical framework for our lives as an author of our lives. Therefore, we shift ourselves out of main character energy into side character energy. And the work I am doing, the work I do with you, is to get yourself back in main character energy. Who are you? What do you want? What have you been through that hasn't served you? What have you been through that could serve you better? Where do you want to go? Who do you want to be? Right? So, mindset, identity, self-awareness, communication, all of these things that make you main character, that put you in main character. And so, all that to say, if you have not been in main character energy, what does that look like? Let me just go back a little bit. What does it look like to be out of main character energy, right? What is main character energy? Question the 1. What does it look like to be out of main character energy? Question the 2. Let me tell you. You are disconnected, depressed, downtrodden, purposeless, confused, right? That's what it feels like when you're out of main character energy. It's not pleasant. It doesn't feel good to be out of main character energy. When you are confident within yourself, right, you make decisions boldly. You're like, I know this is what I want, I'm going after it. You're in a pursuit of things. You're not chasing things aimlessly. Side characters, non-player characters, chase aimlessly. Main characters have the pursuit of the thing. And that is true of any journey, any story. There is pursuit of a thing. And then that thing is acquired, and then we get a sequel, right? And so, what we do not do in our lives is have a good idea of what it is that we want to pursue. Because everybody tells us what to pursue. And so we don't really know what's authentic to us. What's the thing I should be pursuing that's my natural inclination? Because this is the thing that is true, especially with the people I work with. You're probably good at a lot of things, but it's like, what's the thing I want to do? Right? This was a thing that happened to me. I'll go back to my own story as an example. When I was a kid, I had a lot of talents. I really did. And so I had teachers who were like, you need to be a lawyer. Or, wow, you really should X, Y, Z. I don't remember all the things that they said, right? But I remember my one teacher always said, like, you should really be a lawyer. Because I could argue with him and nobody ever could. And I was like, no, I don't want to be a lawyer. Thank you. I had very strong convictions of like what I wanted to be and what I didn't want to be. And I had we could call them preconceived notions even at 17 of what law looked like and lawyers. And I wasn't interested in it then, really any more than I'm interested in it now. Sorry to the lawyers. I don't love law as a topic of study. But it's very black and white. And I like things that are very colorful and existential, right? So like fiction and literature. But anyway, so all that to say, had I known myself less, even at a young age, I would have been like, maybe I should be a lawyer. And I would have considered the idea, and I might have mulled it over, and I might have like asked my mom, and my mom might have been like, yeah, well, they make good money. Why don't you try that? But I was like, no, I'm not interested in that. Thank you. I'm all set. And so we don't know ourselves, our needs and our wants well enough to be in main character energy. So we get into side character energy and we make do with these things. And then we feel depressed, disconnected, unfulfilled, purposeless, confused, questioning, like, what the heck am I doing and why am I doing it, right? Main character energy, super necessary to get into, okay? Super necessary to get into. And it's a skill. It is a skill, it is a skill, it is a skill. Because it is very multifaceted. And a lot of the struggle is coming like first off, you have to realize, oh crap, like I'm really not the main character in my life. I let everybody else make my decisions for me. 1, 2, I do feel disconnected in all of these things that you've said. So yeah, I am inside character energy. 3, I actually do want to be the main character in my life, because that's the thing really quickly. Being the main character in your life comes with responsibility. And a lot of people don't like responsibility. And so it's like, it's just easier for everybody else to make my decisions for me. Then I never make a wrong choice because they made it and I don't have to worry about it. No accountability and no responsibility. We call that victim mode, by the way. It's everybody else's job, fault. And go back on my videos about victim mode, victim mentality, it's there. So some people don't even want to get into main character energy because it does come with responsibility of self, self-awareness, self-discipline, self-motivation. Main character energy is about the self. And it comes with some serious shifts, right? So we're going to talk in this series about main character energy. And I hope that this is interesting to you. This is some of my favorite stuff to talk about. This is what I coach. This is what I teach. It's what I do. I love main character energy because I love helping people get aligned with what they want and putting them on their path and their purpose. I'm a big fan of doing that. And helping them work through hard things and helping them reframe in the moment, right? Rather than going around the same mountain for 20 years. So all that to say, if you like this topic, hang out here. We're going to be talking a lot about main character energy over the next maybe week or so, depending on how long we'll see. And if there's some shifts happening behind the scenes, which I've been kind of pulled back. There's been some shifts happening behind the scenes that are going to start coming out and into fruition very soon. I will keep you guys updated on it with the school and with coaching and things. But for right now, if you are interested in coaching, coming into main character energy, contact me on Instagram, DM me. Check out acornsandoaks.vhx.tv. There are courses there that will help you get into main character energy. And if you are interested, you can join the school. That link is in the bio. And I'm going to keep bringing you the content to get you to change your perspective, change your awareness, and change your life.